The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Well, the Google Wallace didn't get herself ejected in the state final for some dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to say I dreaded showing up to this football game on Friday night, but
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Like, if you want to talk, you have to talk into the microphone. There we go. Mic to mic.
I'm lost.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Bird's Eye View here on Pittsfield Community Radio, 89.7 WTBR-FM, Pittsfield 88.1 WSBR. Lee, Jesse, and Mike here. Howard Herman is back. Henry is perusing the studio, as is his wont, as is his desire. It is a dreary Thursday morning after a rainy Wednesday. We will see how the weather adjusts. Should say that this show is coming out at the worst time to talk about high school sports in Western Massachusetts, given that the Western Mass brackets are coming out tomorrow. But we will proceed forward, do what we can. We had some interesting games the last few days. We had some milestones. Where to begin? I will begin not with my beef with Wacona Baseball, who laid an egg when I saw them and then immediately turned around and played much better the next day. So they can wait. But I saw Hoosick Valley Pittsfield girls lacrosse in one of the better girls lacrosse games I've seen in a while. An 11-10 double overtime victory for Hoosick Valley. They beat their former coach, Molly West, who is now the coach at Pittsfield High. And you can tell the Hoosick girls were excited about it. Cameron Lovato and Reagan Shea, they were like, yeah, we wanted to beat her. And they looked almost embarrassed to say it. But I don't, it's understandable. She left. Whatever the reasons were, she left. And so, yeah, they were. It was senior day for Hoosick. And they were fired up. They were ready to go. And Pittsfield barely looked like they wanted to play lacrosse in the first half. They looked completely lethargic. They did not look like they wanted to be out there. And kind of a credit to Lanaya Gregory, their goalie, who has, from the first game I saw to this game, improved tremendously. She stood on her head in the second quarter. Made, 3 or 4 point-blank saves. And it could have been, 12-3. At the half, and because of her, it was 6-2. Although Hoosick scored 3 goals, one of them with 15 seconds left in the first quarter, and then 2 with under 25 seconds left in the second quarter. So just complete collapse by Pittsfield's defense. And yeah, they just did nothing right. I did overhear Molly West telling her team at halftime, we sucked. And there's no argument from me. Once again, the fact that it was only 6-2 was kind of a miracle. And the third quarter, completely new team. Ella Kroboth and Lily Ferris played like you hear about how well they can play. Pittsfield completely controlled the game in transition. They scored a bunch of free position opportunities. And all of a sudden, it's 8-7. And Pittsfield has its first lead in the game period. And then, yeah, you saw a fight from Hoosick. You saw a fight from Hoosick on senior day, them saying, hold on, we're not going to lose this game. Nia Borowski has come out of nowhere, because we kind of thought about Reagan Shea being as a player to watch coming into this season. And Borowski, won a goal, or won the draw control and immediately scored. All in a matter of seconds. Had some huge plays for them, and they take a 10-8 lead. And Pittsfield gets a goal with 35 seconds left to tie the game, and then we go to overtime. No one scores. We go to double overtime. Ferris got 2 yellows, so she was out. Borowski got 2 yellows, so she was out. I think at least one free position shot for each team, and neither could score on it, which is kind of crazy. So credit to the goalies. Cameron Lovato made a couple of big saves in clutch time. And then Reagan Shea got the game-winning goal with, seconds left on the clock. And, yeah, Hoosick gets the golden goal, 11-10 in double OT. And, yeah, just very, very back and forth, fun game. And I think Molly West is right, because she said after the game, once upon a time this would have been overplaying Pittsfield. And she's right to say that because, she was the coach of Hoosick. She knows from firsthand experience. And, Pittsfield had a lot of bad years in girls lacrosse. And, that's how we would have looked at the game, right? Like, okay, this is a game for Hoosick to run up the score.
Last year, Hoosick-Pittsfield was not a game to cover, no.
Yeah. And so, she's like, it would have been a game where, okay, everyone gets in. We're going to pass the ball around, right? Like, that's a stat game for MMS War and National Azure to put up 8 points. And, you get the JVs involved. And, this year, it's a back-and-forth game. It's really close. So, a credit to the job that Pittsfield has done this year. And obviously still room to go. If you don't spot them 6 goals or 4 goals, then, it might have been a different story.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. They have to get out of whatever league they're currently mired in because they're 10-3 with a -9 power rating. So neither of these teams will be playing in Western Mass tournaments.
No, Pittsfield will at least make states. Hoosick will not.
Pittsfield will make states. Yes.
But look, here's the thing. It's funny you say that about negative the power rating, right? So this is just kind of the state of lacrosse as a whole in Western Mass. All right, there are 24 girls lacrosse teams in Western Mass. 6 of them have positive power ratings. All right, there are 20. There are 20.
They need to secede from the MIA.
There are 20 boys lacrosse teams in Western Mass. Literally, as of yesterday, or as of Tuesday, 6 have positive power ratings. Before it had been 4. So it's bad, man. It's bad. And when I say have positive power ratings, I think 3 of them are like 0 point, whatever. So it's not even like they're good. Like they're just barely not negative.
You'll see Wacona Greylock tonight. Wacona's a 1.6, Greylock's a 0.6.
Right.
And those are the only positive teams not in Class A.
Right.
Class B, the top seed is a -2.9.
Yeah. So this is what I'm like. No, it's bad everywhere. This isn't about. It is about the league they're in, but it's also about leagues in general out here. If you're not in the Valley, it's tough, and even if you are, it's still really tough. So, lacrosse as a whole, if your name isn't Longmeadow, good luck. And that's because Longmeadow plays all the Eastern Mass teams. But that's a good point though. Wacona Greylock tonight, girls. The first time they played in Dalton was a 9-8 Greylock win. Was a really good win. This game, huge game for both teams. It's probably too late for Greylock to take the 1 seed in Class C.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
but
full point.
Just a big rivalry game. Wacona coming off a tough loss to Northampton. Mike, double check us the standings, please, because I want to say that Greylock might still have an outside chance at part of the league if they win, but I'm not sure.
Title.
And then it's a the potential Class C preview. They're both going to be top 2 seeds. They both get the home games in the semifinals, and assuming they win their first round matchups, then you're going to see the rematch. Hopefully, it's at BCC. Would be a great game. I'll be there tonight, which is 6 o'clock at Greylock at the turf field, so the rain will not be an issue.
You mean at BCC?
The Western Mass will be at BCC, I would imagine.
No, but you said something about a turf field.
No, Greylock has the new turf field for the track.
That's not turf. It's grass.
Not turf, yeah.
It's a grass field.
Yeah, it's a grass soccer field.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's really nice.
It is, but it is a grass field.
It's very nice. So whatever.
A Greylock win gives them the title. A Wacona win gives them the title. They both have 1 loss in the conference.
Okay.
Wacona obviously lost to Greylock. Greylock lost to Amherst.
Okay. So there you go. So if Greylock, the league title on the line. Yeah. I imagine that if you're Greylock and you beat Wacona twice, you're like, hey, we can win the Western Mass Championship, right? And if you're Wacona, then you're saying, all right, we beat them. Now we know we can defend this Class C title. Huge game coming up tonight.
They are 11-13. Wacona 11, Greylock 13 in D4.
Right. Yeah, Wacona. Think of a different sport with one. Look at the rankings.
Just dress warmly.
Well, yes.
And wear clothes that keep you dry.
Yeah, I was dressed for the rain, and it rained all throughout my game yesterday. And
Well, that's
then
because you didn't bring an umbrella.
I was standing under the little pop-up tent that the Huzik AD
very
and the
nice.
guy operating the scoreboard were under. So
But you should have seen me yesterday. I'd got the big umbrella on my chair, and it was like almost like an igloo.
yeah. Well, so I was under there, and then at halftime I went up to the press box, and I was in the press box through the entire third quarter, and because I was, it was 6-2, and Pittsfield didn't look like they wanted to play lacrosse, and it was like, okay, well, then I'm going to go hide in the shelter, and then Pittsfield said, what if we play good lacrosse? And I said, all right, well, I guess I know how to come back out.
Pile back down.
But yeah, no. So unfortunately, nothing like that nice at Greylock. But
Although they will bring what they call their turtle out.
the turtle is out. I could go up there. I suppose we'll see what the weather's like.
Oh, you mean like the little shit? I was like, what press box is there?
It's a little like metal stand.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh,
it's
they were
a
on the
wheel-
they were on the football field.
It's
Okay.
a wheelie. They wheel it back and forth.
Yeah.
You sit in
I
those
thought they were on
things
the soccer
when you're
field.
at Williams.
Okay.
One of my Williams. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now that we got the lacrosse in first, now I'll talk about Wacona baseball because I didn't get to see James Rebuse, and I saw them completely kind of no show at the plate against Frontier. And then, of course, the next day, James Rebuse pitches, and they play really well against Taconic. So, not that I'm bitter or anything. No, but, so yeah, I saw them lose 5-1 to Frontier, and then yesterday they beat Taconic 13-4. And very much, you know what? Credit to Colin Parrott, excuse me.
Both of them. Actually, both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, I don't know why I made him French for a second.
Could be.
Anyway, he clearly doing some good coaching because the first game, the game against Frontier, which, to be clear, so in the current Western Mass Class B standings, Pittsfield won. They've locked up the 1 spot. 2-time reigning champ. Taconic is number 2. Wacona is 3. Frontier is 4. So Tuesday, Wacona and Frontier played each other. And big game. Frontier's pitcher threw a gem. Just had a great game. But as much as that, Wacona's batters were poor.
Well, if you read my story yesterday from the game against Taconic, Colin talked about how the day before they had bad approaches at the plate. They were swinging at too many pitches. They weren't making the pitcher work.
Can I tell you? It wasn't just like they were swinging, as he told me after that game, right? They were letting strikes middle. They were looking at them. And then they were seeing, breaking balls that had never been a strike. They were swinging at those. They had 5 guys strike out looking.
And what that becomes is it becomes a guessing game. And a lot of times, hitters will just try to guess what the pitcher's going to throw. And obviously, they were guessing wrong. Yesterday, against a couple of Taconic pitchers, they were guessing right. I think the ball that James Rebuse hit yesterday for a 2-run homer might still be traveling. Straightaway center field, instantly gone. But he was the story yesterday for a while. For the first 3 innings, he looked like Paul Skeens. 9 up, 9 down.
He throws 20 miles an hour slower, though.
I don't know, 20 miles an hour slower. Rebuse is a
15.
Rebuse is a mid-90s guy.
No, isn't he like 88?
No, he throws really. He wouldn't be going to Division I if he was just an 88 mile an hour thrower.
I mean, that's what Melly does and Cody does. So. Sorry, keep going.
But then I think what happened is it was, again, through the lineup. Most he'd pitched all year. He'd only thrown like an inning or so in all of his appearances. And the ball was really wet. And I think, as the later the game goes on, the more soaked the balls get, makes it harder to throw. And that's no excuse, but that's what happened. And he hit a guy, walked a couple of guys, gave up 1 hit in 4 innings, and gave up 4 earned runs.
Yeah, so when I look at what happened in your game and what happened against Frontier, it really was the approach at the plate. And, you can talk about hunting pitches, but I think a lot of it was, in the first 2 innings against Frontier, Wacona batters were aggressive early in the count, and that was great. They didn't score, but they were hitting the pitcher. They were getting some guys on base. They just couldn't get that big hit, and I liked the approach. And then I think they got a little conservative to try and get them higher in the count, and that's when everything fell off the rails. And it seems like in your game, they were like, no, hold on. We can hit this guy. We're going to hit this guy early. I don't care if it's the first pitch or the fifth pitch. And then also, Taconic just made errors, and that the rain was probably a part of it. But yeah, Wacona's defense also had a couple of mistakes that did not help them. But yeah, it really was the offense that hurt them against Frontier. So yeah, because it's good to see them rebound.
And that loss didn't help Wacona at all. But I think they were far enough ahead of Frontier that they're not going to flip 3 and 4.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not sure Frontier had,
Question is,
had a big week.
if they had won both games, could they have flipped 2 and 3?
Doubtful, because on Tuesday, Taconic's rating was 20093 and Wacona's was 11207. So I think that might be a bridge too far for them to flip to 2.
I don't know.
But
I don't know how it works, to be honest. But if you beat two good teams handily, is that worth pointing?
And so the way I think in baseball, I don't know what's going on in Class A because we don't have any teams in Class A, but it looks to me like B, C, and D, we're locked in.
For the number 1 seed, yeah.
For the bracket. I think the bracket is basically locked in all 3 divisions.
Well,
there can't be many games left. So.
Monument has a chance of getting in.
Monument's the 8th seed right now.
Yeah, so they
are minus 2.0405, and Holyoke, who beat Chicopee, who the other day was minus 2.3631. So that might be the only place where you might see a flip tomorrow morning.
If games get in Tuesday, Wednesday, and then today, I can see teams moving around a little bit on the margins. If Frontier had a really good week, and you never know what AD hasn't put what game in, I can see a world where they move up a spot. I can also see a world where Kona goes over to Taconic. But I do think that the top 4 is probably set. I also should say, I looked from what I could see, it does seem as though Rebuse might be throwing about 90-91 according to some prep sites. So perhaps he can touch 91.
And he will, of course, as he goes through college, get much faster. But Tuesday afternoon, I sat and looked at all the power ratings and did a bracket, and I don't see anybody. Maybe one somewhere, but everybody else is pretty locked into where they are in classes B, C, and D.
Yeah, I would say the important spots are kind of locked in. Drury is 1 in Class C, Everett is 2 in Class D, Lennox is probably and Greylock they're both probably kind of staying where they are in Class C. So yeah, though there's not much movement on that front.
McCann is going to be a 7 seed in Class C. That's unless somebody forfeits a bunch of games and they move people around, it just it's going to be Pittsfield's going to play Monument in the first round of Class B. So that's the only completely local game, but that and ironically enough, they could be playing each other back to back because they're scheduled to play each other today.
Mm-hmm. No, that game's not happening.
No,
that was already moved actually tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. but that game becomes interesting in the sense that Pittsfield, obviously locked in as not only the number 1 seed in Class B, but as of Tuesday's power ratings, the number 1 team in Western Mass. Period.
Yeah.
Their power rating is higher than Central's going into after Tuesday's power ratings. But
the question will be playing Monument twice. Is that going to hurt their power rating for states? I think it will.
It could very well.
All right, hold on a second. We're going to take a little break here, and then we'll come back, talk a little more Western Mass. So keep it locked here on WTBR and WSBR.
PCTV Select is a great way to watch local content without having a cable subscription. You can keep up with the latest of what's going on in your community from anywhere in the world, and it's available for free right now. Watch live events in full HD on your TV, on your computer, or on the go with your mobile device. Or watch our large library of on-demand video programs anytime that's convenient for you. No more waiting until it's on TV. Did we mention it's free? PCTV Select is everywhere you need to be.
Hi, this is Sean Sayre, Executive Director of PCTV. When Taconic High School was demolished, we could have lost this radio station. Instead, PCTV stepped in, built a new studio and transmitter, and gave the station new life. And now it's time to pay that back. Support this station today. Go to WTBR-FM.com and click the donate button. You won't be sorry. Pittsfield Community Radio thanks you for your support.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bird's Eye View here on WTBR, WSBR. Talking a little Western Mass. Should mention as well that the softball Western Mass playoffs look relatively locked in. Hoosick Valley, the number one team in Class D, still undefeated on the season. I believe they end their year with Greenfield, which will be a very interesting matchup. They should beat Greenfield, which should be building. Lennox, number one in Class C. McCann, number two. Both look relatively assured of those spots. Both of them, I think, actually have some legitimate Western Mass run in them. What's up, Henry? What's going on? That's a truck? Yeah. So anyway, the Millionaires have been a little up and down as of late. They took a really tough doubleheader loss to Wacona on Friday, and that Mike, were you there? Did you edit that?
Dylan was there.
Dylan was there.
That is so rare to see a high school doubleheader in any sport.
Yeah,
that must have been fun.
Well, not for Lennox.
No,
they got shelled. They got shelled. It was not supposed to be a doubleheader, and then rain. And so instead of playing like twice in a week, they just said we'll put it, both on one day at Pine Grove Park, and
where they can do that because they have lights.
Because they have they played one at like 4 and then the next at 7. Wacona took it to them, and I would have thought that Wacona was the better team. But the way they lost was certainly disheartening, given I thought Lennox should give them a better game, not get run ruled, and shut out in one of the games. So how Lennox responds is definitely going to be a big question mark. I think they have a real chance at going to Western Mass Final, and I also think McCann does as well if both teams play the way they can play. McCann had a little bit of trouble with Greylock, but Greylock is Greylock, and so McCann scored 8 runs in like the 5th inning and won the game. And Wacona is also basically locked into either the 4th spot in Class B.
Yeah, and what's interesting in Class C is based on the bracket of Tuesday, when I did a bracket, is that you mentioned McCann. McCann's may have to do a Berkshire County gauntlet to get to the final because they would play Drury in the first round, and they would play the winner of Franklin Tech Mount Greylock in the second round, and theoretically that could be Mount Greylock, and then they would have to play Mount Greylock and then play possibly Lennox in the championship game. So that would be, you can almost call Class C the Berkshire County Championship.
Yeah, it definitely would be a heavy game. It's also Pittsfield and Taconic are kind of neck and neck for the 8th spot, and they both took a loss. How each of one of them is able to hold on. We'll see if Pittsfield can hold on to the 8th seed in Class B, which means they would get a 3rd chance at Hampshire, which ran them over twice. Not really sure how that will go, but just a couple games left here before the softball playoffs start. Should also mention Lennox boys lacrosse goalie Jeffrey Larman got his 800th career save on Monday against Hoosick Valley. That was also, I guess, I kind of got 2 similar games where Lennox was down big to start and then made a heck of a comeback effort to tie the game, and then Hoosick tamped things down, scored some, had a big 4th quarter to put the game away, won 13-9, swept the season series. This whole thing is confusing me because Hoosick has now beaten Lennox twice, but Lennox has lost twice to Wacona really close. They lost in overtime on a golden goal by Kessler Anello last night, and yet Wacona smoked Hoosick. So I don't really know what's going on. Lennox also beat Greylock, which beat Wacona twice. So I don't know. Everyone's beating everyone. I don't know how this is
And that's a
gonna
good
work
thing.
out.
And that's kind of a good
guess.
thing. But let us pause for a second and shout out to Jeffrey Larman, because 800 saves is a lot anyway. But most of the goalies who get to that area were on teams that faced a ton of shots and didn't win a lot of games. Over Jeffrey Larman's career, Lennox has won a lot of games.
It's true. He's won 2 Western Mass titles, and he's been to a third.
And so, to get that many saves and to win as much as they have, therein is an accomplishment that I'm not sure a lot of other you have to give him a little extra props on that.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to do that on a good team. I will say Lennox has often played kind of run and gun, but even still, it is very impressive. Who was that yesterday? Pittsfield, Preston Fair had his 100th goal.
Preston Fair 100 goals. Their goalie
Jude Wojtkowski
400 saves, and then Javon Jones set a program record for points with 14
in a game.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all in one game happening for Pittsfield.
Well, what game was that?
They beat McCann like 18-15, 18-13, something like that.
Okay. So yeah, lacrosse records going around. But yeah, no. So Lennox, we'll see how they rebound. I mean,
they'll play Huzik in a semifinal.
Yeah, they'll play in the semifinals. They're locked in.
They lose to him twice, yet they get to play him at home.
Right. Yeah, because their power rating is higher.
Of course, there's that old sports cliche. The hardest thing to do is beat a team 3 times in 1 year.
It's true. And Jackson Larrabee and Jaden Tatro both said, we wanted the sweep. We wanted to beat them. We know that we're going to play them again in Western Mass. And really, I think more than Lennox, they want another shot at Greylock, because Greylock beat Huzik, and they want another shot at Greylock in the Western Mass Championship. You wonder if they're going to overlook Lennox a little bit. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they want their chance at Greylock, which is the 1 seed in Class C, which is
they were
incredible.
they were the same team at one point.
Yes.
So I think there's a little extra that goes with that.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, for Lennox, they're focused on Huzik. They know they get another chance. They know they get it at home. They want to see Huzik, and they want to beat Huzik. Something fierce. So we will see if they can get that if third time is the charm or not, because there are times when their team looks very good, and there are other times where it's they can't win a face off. They struggle in transition, but they showed some fight. They showed some fight on senior day, which is what you want. Only a minute or two left here, so Mike, any track updates?
Saturday is individuals, Berkshire County kind of championship meet.
Give me five things you're looking for.
So we're coming off. So these guys they go out to these invitationals now, which are bigger, more competitive meets, I guess, and they kind of stop racing locally, which is tough for us. But Everett Pacheco, Cohen Zahn, Ben Harwood were all in the same race. It was just in Weston, Massachusetts over the weekend at the Twilight Invitational. They all ran the 2 mile. So Everett Pacheco's, I haven't seen him run this spring. Yet he has the county's top 800 time and ran a 4:24 mile over the weekend. Cohen Zahn had previously run a 4:30, Harwood a 4:38. So if those 3 guys get into the same meet, they're also 1, 2, 3. Zahn has a 9:46 2 mile, Harwood 9:49, Pacheco 9:51. So they're all there. I want to see that. Want to see Greylock depth, boys side heading into Western Mass, which will be the big test for them. I want to see a couple heated relays, 4x4. Seems like people are coming for Pittsfield.
Heated relays.
Sorry,
I'm trying.
It could be. Yeah, that could be a misconception given that there are heats in races. But I want to see Greylock, Monument, Pittsfield just go at it in a 4x4 because Pittsfield's the back-to-back 4x4 champion, and that's kind of the premier. It ends the meets. So looking forward to seeing that. City Culbreth, I haven't actually seen jump, but he has now 2 county records this season. Monument sophomore kind of came out of nowhere. On the girls' side, same thing. Amelia Deslitz finally ran a 5:17 mile, which is far and away the top in the county. But she has a bunch of girls chasing her. I just don't know if anyone's really fast enough and see which events Rona Patsos will choose to compete in, because Greylock needs to kind of pick and choose its spots and not overload any one kind of or any group of events to ensure they get enough points. But
all right, thank you for that. That's your track update. Berkshire County individuals this weekend. Bracket release for Western Mass coming out tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day and take it easy.